Hello, before we get the pod started today, just want to give a quick spoiler warning. We're going to be diving deep into our favorite epic scenes in movies, video games, TV shows, books. So you are forewarned. If you haven't seen these, a spoiler warning is in effect now. Hello, and welcome to Three Nerds Deep. My name is Adam, and I am joined by Andrew and Andy. Say hello, nerds.
Hello, nerds.
Hey, nerds. Hi. How are you?
All right. Thank you for joining us today. We have a very fun topic to discuss today. We are going to be talking about the most epic scenes in movies, video games, TV shows, heck, maybe a book if we can think of one. But first, I want to give a shout out because I actually did my homework this week. I watched Zoolander. Thought it was very funny.
Hey.
But I also had to remind myself that this movie was made to be stupid. So.
But why male models?
Right. Dude, it was hilarious. But again, like I was like, dude, this movie is so stupid. And I'm like, but it's supposed to be stupid.
Dude,
and
the
then I
scene
enjoyed
that
it.
kills me is the gas station.
Oh, yeah.
That scene kills me every time.
Who
You
knew
guys
that they
died
were
in
going to
the
die in a
scene?
freak gasoline fighting accident? So stupid.
Oh,
But yes, it was very funny. I would recommend it, but be warned, it is supposed to be very, very stupid. Anybody else got any shout outs that they want to do? Anybody else I don't think anybody else got assigned homework. Normally I'm just assigned homework, but
I am in the busy season of marching season. So here's my shout out to all those people doing marching band things. Good for you. That's my deep dive into nerd life. So that's what I've got.
all right.
Go
Andy,
nerds.
you
Go
got a
band
shout out?
nerds.
Shout out. I thought I had one.
It's okay if you
Here's
don't.
a
had
shout
one
out
this
to
morning.
short-term memory loss.
Yes, short-term
Wait, what are
memory.
we shouting out to?
I guess I was playing the Insane trilogy, the Crash Bandicoot
Oh, yeah.
Insane trilogy.
Mhm.
I was having fun with that, so it's my shout
Nice.
out. I was not very good at it. Apparently, I haven't not playing it in like almost a decade and a half, if not more. Makes it so you're a little rusty.
That was the first game I 100%ed.
Nice.
That's
It
one of
was
the
Crash
first games I
Bandicoot
ever
1.
played. Was the first Crash Bandicoot game.
I don't know if I've
Ever?
ever 100% of
Ever.
a game.
Well, at least
Never
that's not true.
100%ed a game?
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I've done it
Well,
to
actually,
a couple. Most of them are in the
Crash-
Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon series.
Crash Bandicoot 1 was the first PlayStation game I think I ever played.
Oh, okay. I would say.
Which might be the
My-
first game you ever played. We didn't really
No,
play.
because Aaron let us play his old Sega Genesis, and we used to play that when we were real little, and it barely worked.
Was there a game where you could fight and you
Shaq
had
Fu.
Shaq?
Yes.
Shaq
Shaq
Fu?
Fu.
Okay,
Shaq Fu.
that probably might have been the first game we ever played.
That or the X-Men platform game that
Mm.
was
Oh,
on there.
yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that one.
Or maybe even one of the PlayStation 1 demo discs.
It's true.
I
We
remember.
played those a lot.
Yeah, the
love
Rugrats
those.
mini golf. That game was pretty awesome.
Nope, I didn't play that one.
For those of you who are too young to know, you used to get game demos in magazines that you could put
Or
in
in
your
the consoles
or in the
when you
consoles.
bought them.
Yep. And they had different, like, 10 maybe games on them of little demos.
If you're lucky.
Right. So, yeah, it was
They were video game free game. They were free video games, or free video games, or a thing.
right. So
but limited. There's a Star Wars fighting game one that I played on PlayStation 1, and you could only play as Luke and some other rando Star Wars character that I don't think appeared in anything but this one fighting game.
nice.
It was okay, but it never made me want to go out and buy the game.
Right. I
Of
think
course, I
the
I
was
think
like
the
9 at the time.
the demo disc that Andy and I are talking about had the
We had,
Rugrats
like,
mini
two-
golf. Right. Had the Rugrats mini golf and it had Medieval on it.
Oh, I remember that game.
Yeah.
is that the like knight with a skeleton head or
Yeah.
whatever, something like that?
The
Yeah.
one I played on had iCube, Parappa the Rapper, Crash Bandicoot, and 2 Extreme, and then the Star Wars fighting game. It was pretty good.
Nice.
Did
All
you
right.
guys ever play 2 Extreme?
What kind
I-
of game was that?
I
It
don't
was a
even know if I've
racing
heard of
game
it.
where oh my gosh. You
I
could,
mean-
you would race. It was so illogical. You would be actually 2 Extreme wasn't. 1 Extreme was. But anyway, you would be. It was extreme sports racing, but you could beat each other up.
See, the
you could-
only
I feel like I played
racing
a version
game.
of a game similar to that when the PS3 came out.
Yeah. The
Maybe,
only racing game I can remember us playing a lot was some ATV racing where you race 4-wheelers. Do you remember that, Andy?
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, we played that game a lot. Had like, I'm thinking back, like the worst soundtrack if I remember. It was very obnoxious. So, all right.
Any video
Anywho,
game soundtrack in the 90s was obnoxious at midnight,
yeah, I guess it's true.
2 in the morning.
Right. Anywho,
Anyway.
enough with the reminiscing. Let's get on to our topic. So, as I said at the top, we are going to be talking about epic movie, TV, video game scenes. This topic was moments. This topic was suggested by Andy, so I'm going to let him give the first topic.
He's our top commenter, so he gets the
Um,
votes.
So I thought of this topic and I'll bring up this scene because I was on YouTube and there's a YouTube short that I saw. And the scene is from Game of Thrones. When the wildlings are attacking the wall and
Oh yes,
Jon
I know.
tells a group of like 5 or 6 Night's Watch to go hold the gate. And these 5 or 6 guys, who some of them look like they're children, like 13, 14 years old. And he says, go hold the gate no matter what. And while they're down there, somehow a literal giant gets through. And, you know, some of the brothers are like wanting to run or whatever. And I can't remember the character's
Gren.
name, but he goes, no, we told John we'd hold the gate. So we hold the gate. And then they just start saying their Night's Watch oath as the giant is charging them. Dude, that scene gives me chills. Because, like, they know that they're probably not going to make it. But they
We didn't
also
even talk
know.
about it during that scene.
Yeah, but they also know that they have to hold this gate. And that you don't even see the fight, which I think makes the scene better, because then you're like, you have to try to imagine what the fight was like. And they hold the gate.
Right. Well, really,
So-
all they had to do was kill the giant, because then once the giant's in the way, no one's getting around the.
Yeah, but still, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
just I don't know what it is. The 6 guys all saying their oath at the same time. The look of determination on their face. The not good odds.
Right.
Like, if those of you who haven't watched Game of Thrones, giants are like What would you guys say? Like
Terrifying.
15, 20 feet tall, something like that.
Um,
Like
Probably
I'd
it's
say
not
probably
like
15.
it's not like it's like a
15.
it's not like it's a 8 foot tall guy.
Yeah.
They're literal giants. Like they can
Right.
pick you up with their one hand and crush you. Like more like
Yeah.
fairy tale type of giants. Maybe not that big.
Well,
but
I mean, in perspective, the one giant who wasn't even the king of the giants broke down the gates of Winterfell by himself.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah. So that's the first scene that comes to mind. It's what inspired this topic. Like I said, you don't even see the fight, but it's still epic in my opinion, just because there's just something in for me that hits me where it's like a group of people who know that they're not going to make it, but they do the job anyway
right.
because it's what needs to be done. So
Yeah.
that's my
Are there
first one.
Are there other movies that like also parallel that? I'm trying to think of other ones. I know that one's fresh because that was the last one you've seen, and I know there's others. I'm just struggling to think of any others right now.
I mean, if you want to go with like a similar vibe, you could do the scene from 300 where they prove that Xerxes isn't a god.
Yeah, like that final scene.
Yeah, like self-sacrifice scene, like they're gonna, they know they're gonna die. I mean, there's several good ones, but I'm not sure any that.
Movie, like a similar movie, like the whole movie is this premise is the movie Ironclad,
I literally had.
where it's a group of like
yeah.
10 people. They have to hold a castle until help arrives
Right.
from an army that's like a legit army, and they've got like 10 people.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Has one of my favorite quotes ever in it. But that's another one of those things where it's like, don't tell me the odds. Like I know
Right.
the odds are not good, but we're gonna sit there and do our job anyway.
I actually had that scene from Ironclad. So, light spoilers. There's a scene in Ironclad. The main character is injured, and the bad guy's like, who's not Christian, and the one guy's a Templar, and they're being overran. And he goes, "How's your faith now, Christian?" And the guy lifts his sword up and says, "Come here, and I will show you." Type of thing, and it's
great.
as they're being overran.
So good.
It's a good fight. It's a good movie. I saw it was on. I mentioned last week. I think that I had personal homework of medieval movies. Ironclad is actually number 9 on that list. So it's a great movie.
It's a good movie.
I guess it's considered a B movie because it didn't have a huge budget. It didn't have a huge, it wasn't like a blockbuster movie, but like, what's his name? There's Kate Mara is in it. Why am I blanking on the guy who plays
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti's in it, which he slays in everything he plays in. So, but it's a great movie, so you should check it out. That could be another shout out for me. Ironclad. Go watch it. Not with children, though. Not with children.
Definitely not with children.
So, Andrew, do you have a scene that comes to mind for you?
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of scenes.
Yeah,
in
I
movies
just
that
mentioned
could
one. I
think
can
of.
mention more
It's-
later, but
Right.
Right. I guess. Oh man. I would want to say one of the biggest scenes for me that I actually only watched this one scene, and they showed it in high school, and then I wanted to watch the rest of the whole movie. Was the D-Day scene in Saving Private Ryan. So the opening of that scene when they are just dropping into the beach
Mm-hmm.
and the historical accuracy of how that panned out. It wasn't necessarily epic in lines, but the silence at the end of it was deafening,
Right.
where you just maybe possibly for the first time, and in some people's cases, reliving those situations. Like when they showed that movie, they invited World War II veterans to the opening night, and it was too real for them.
Yeah.
That it brought these hardened old men to tears because it took them right back there. Um, and then it just ends in the scene of him just looking around with his hand shaking again, and it's just, yeah, that was one of the most epic scenes I can currently think of at the moment. Um,
Yeah. Along the lines of World War II, Grant, you could say the last battle in Saving Private Ryan is pretty bad A. Like it's just, and you get that self-sacrifice thing too. Like, I mean, I'm going to put a spoiler alert in the beginning, but most of the people die.
Yeah.
But along lines of World War II, I also have to say, Captain Spears and Band of Brothers. He's got two scenes.
yeah,
One, it's like episode 2 or 3 when which seems really dumb. Like, I'm not saying it's the smartest thing, but he stands up outside the trench to charge a machine gun nest, and his whole squad dies but him. It's pretty epic. But then in later episode, during the Battle of Bastogne, he gets put in charge because the other captain freezes up or whatever, and he goes and he literally runs straight through the entire German, formation to link up with another company to figure out where they're at, and then not only that, he comes back. So it's pretty epic, and
that's a pretty good one.
Like the way I don't exactly know how historically accurate that is, because I have heard that the book got some things wrong, but the way it's shot and the way it's narrated, because it's narrated by Lieutenant something, I can't think of his name, but because each episode follows a certain guy from his perspective type of thing. But the way it's narrated is very good. It's like not like grandiose epic, but it's definitely like, if even half of this story is true, it's pretty awesome. And the way it's shot, the way it's filmed, it's really good. So
yeah, but back to the Saving Private Ryan. That might be one of my all-time favorite war movies, but it also might be one of my all-time favorite movies in general. The D-Day scene is shot fantastically. Like you said, veterans of the war were literally brought to tears because of the realism of it. And like you said, there's no speeches, there's hardly any dialogue in that scene of them landing on the beach. But the way they shot it and the way they portrayed it, you almost felt like you were there. And right. That is, in my opinion, the definition of an epic scene, where you are literally having a visceral reaction to what's going on the screen.
Also has one of my favorite.
I was too young to see it in the theaters,
right?
But I guarantee I could almost imagine what it was like watching that movie in the theaters.
I will say it has one of my favorite lines in it, and I won't say it because it does have some swearing in it, but the one sergeant points at two guys when they need to move up. You two stay on my butt. And I used to say that all the time when playing. It's like, guys, we need to move up if we're playing a military game. Just his delivery on it was funny, even though it was a very serious moment. But yeah. So on, I don't know if it's a lighter note, but another epic scene that I want to portray or give credence to is in Man of Steel, when I forget what it's called, but the thing's shooting into the ground and Superman's underneath it before he destroys it, and they do that whole, they the music is
Where it looks like
building,
Christopher,
and then
whatever his
he
name is.
yeah, they do the little quick cameo of Christopher Reeves. That's just an epic scene as well. Gives me goosebumps. Really, and then also I'll go into Andy and I were talking about this a little bit, but in the new Superman movie, when he saves the family by catching the building, one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Pretty epic.
So we haven't talked
On
a
the
ton about the
bridge.
Superman movie.
Oh,
I don't know if it's the mixture of the music and that scene. The music in the new Superman movie is fantastic. The way they use it, like Adam kind of stole mine because I brought it up to him before we started recording about the Superman catching the building. Like, you knew it was gonna happen. Like, you knew. You're watching the movie, you're like, oh, Superman's gonna catch this building,
or he's going to
didn't
catch
matter.
the person
It was
and get
still
him out of the
awesome.
way.
Yeah, but
Like-
you knew he was gonna do something real cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. It was still cool. But yeah, Man of Steel, that scene when he's flying up, paying homage to, arguably one of the best people to portray Superman was really cool. I don't know. I think music makes scenes a lot, and the music in Man of Steel is also really good.
Yeah. I also want to.
I would.
I just
I would
wanna-
argue that the new Superman movie has the superior music.
Yeah.
Than Man of
The
Steel.
theme-
I mean,
the theme
John
music
Williams
in the new
did
one
the
is really good.
original- Well, John Williams did the original music for the original Superman, and they pay homage to his original score while also updating it to the current level.
Right.
Man of Steel didn't really do that, but I mean, not that it's a bad score by any means, but they did a really good job with the new Superman.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, arguably, I feel like, to me, whether or not you agree or not, I think Superman has been, over the years, one of the best cast superheroes. Because, say what you will about the Superman Return movie, like, Brandon Routh was a good Superman. Now, the movie may not have been that great, but he was a good Superman. Christopher Reeves was a good Superman. Henry Cavill's a great Superman, and David, is it David? Can't think of his last name. But anyway, the new Superman is also
No.
It's like Soren something, Soren Sweet or something.
I don't know. His name. Let us know if we're dumb for not remembering, but he is a very good.
Corn Sweat.
Yeah, it's a long.
Sure.
Yeah,
I knew
But-
it was something Sweat.
he
I was close.
he might be my favorite Superman, but like Henry Cavill's also amazing. So like it's just they've hit almost every time, whether or not the writing was as good and whatnot. But yeah, but anyway, that's a different thing. I just want to say I think it's one of the best.
I've got another epic moment. Just because you bring up Superman. So again, slight spoilers. When Superman is saving Element Man's child, and while fighting off all the guards and keeping the child safe. I don't know. Maybe it's not the most classically epic moment, but for me, it's an epic moment because the whole time he's just like keeping that kid as safe as possible while he's fighting off all these guards, while he's being sucked into a black hole. But that's a good scene. We were talking about I was talking about something about epic speeches leading into a battle type of thing. Adam and I have seen this movie. I don't know if Andrew's seen this movie, but a scene I want to bring up is in the movie The 13th Warrior, which if you don't know what that movie is, I got a quick little thing. It is made in 1999. It stars Antonio Banderas, and he is a Muslim ambassador who's exiled to what do you call it? That doesn't say what country, but essentially he's exiled to be an ambassador to Vikings. And there's a scene where they are again going up against an army of people, and there's the main Viking, the leader of the Vikings. Let me look what his character's name is. His name is Bullywith. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Some weird Scandinavian name. But like he's essentially dead. Like he's in a coma. But this final battle's about to start, and all of a sudden he lumbers up like this giant hulking, Viking lumbers up, and he's wrapped in a blanket, but he's got his sword in his hand. And I don't even know what he's quoting, if it's like some kind of scripture or if it's just some kind of oath. But him and all the people, all of his warriors with him, they all start saying this oath about protecting the innocent and all that stuff. And then the final battle happens. And the king, which the main Viking guy is a king, essentially, and makes it through the whole battle, but he passes away, dies, but he never falls to the ground. He remains standing. He dies standing up, surrounded by, his slain enemies. And I don't, like I said, I don't know what it is about when a group of men are saying their oaths together. It hits me in like a, I don't know, primal way where it's like, yeah, we all should be like, bonded together to accomplish a goal. And then the fact that the battle happens and the king never falls. He's standing the entire time. But then he succumbs to previous injuries that he had. It's a great scene. Andrew, like I said, I don't know if you've seen this movie. It doesn't have the best reviews from like Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 34%, but it has a 6.6% on IMDb and a...
You mean 6.6 rating?
Yeah, 6.6 rating, sorry.
I was going to say 6.6% is a truly terrible movie.
A 3.7 out of 5 on Goodreads. So, a little bit of mixed reviews.
And a caveat, I've only ever seen the ending. I've never actually seen the whole movie, just that scene and the ending, or where he doesn't fall.
I've seen the whole movie. Like I said, it's not... I don't know if it might be like an A- movie, because I don't think it's like I don't think it's quite B movie, but it's also not quite like...
Well, there's also a ton of famous people in that movie too.
There's several famous people in it. But like I said, that's a good scene. So
should we just get rid of the obvious one that I think we all have thought of?
I think I know what you're about to say, but I've thought of a lot of
the Charge of the Rohirrim, Pelennor Fields.
That's what I thought you were going to
say. King Theoden's speech, like it's pretty obvious. Anybody who's ever seen it, even if you haven't seen it, you've probably seen the clip. King Theoden gives this awesome...
We've talked about it on the pod before, too.
Right, and we've mentioned on the pod, but it's not even a long speech. It's not a drawn-out speech. It's pretty quick speech. Like you can put it on a t-shirt and it not be that crowded. Like, but he gets you fired up. And when he started
getting fired up just thinking about it.
And when they're yelling death, like you join in and you're like, all right, let's go charge into insurmountable number of orcs and crush them. Like the weight of their charge and their fury, like the orcs are scared and they start to run, which is why the charge even is successful. Because everybody who knows anything about historical warfare, the orcs have pikes. You don't charge cavalry into pikes. But the orcs are so terrified because they're shooting arrows at them, and it's not stopping them, and they just keep coming. That the orcs actually start fleeing, and they're able to just cut a huge swath through them. Yeah, it's just the speech is epic, the charge is epic, the whole battle is epic.
Yeah.
Really, any battle scene in Lord of the Rings is pretty epic. We have Boromir's last stand, which is
that's great. There's so many things. I mean, even Gandalf, you shall not pass. Even though it's kind of lost a little bit of gusto because it gets voted
kind of a meme.
Anybody is somebody trying to block somebody else.
Right.
From any, I mean, I do that to my kids to keep them from disturbing my wife when she's trying to get dressed, or like, it's just, we as a culture, after hearing it, it's become such a cultural phenomenon that we have discredited its epicness, but it's still a wonderful scene. Like, he's standing up against a fiery demon,
right,
and just is yelling, "You shall not pass," and you're not gonna. And you know what? He doesn't. It doesn't always go the same.
Yeah,
right. But then you can also
just full of scenes like that though, because like
right. Well,
when Gandalf shows up at Helm's Deep,
right.
That's also because there's a little bit of like foreshadowing that Gandalf told Aragorn, you know, after the third day, look to the east or whatever, and then Aragorn like remembers that. So they go out and charge, and then all of a sudden they look to the east, and oh, look, it's Gandalf and a whole bunch of soldiers.
Well, that whole thing where he's like, King Theoden stands alone, and then Aramir's like, not alone. And then like they yell, to the king! And then just straight down, which no matter, it's not very practical to charge a horse down that steep of an angle, but it's an epic scene. Like... It's phenomenal.
It is. It has a big effect when it's like hundreds of horses down there.
Well, I'm just saying, like, most time horses would not go down there that well.
Right, no.
But
Aragorn fighting off the ring wraiths at the watchtower where Frodo gets stabbed.
The Lord of the Rings movies have won so many Oscars.
Yeah,
it's just good. We could do a whole podcast about Lord of the Rings because it is my favorite movie franchise ever. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, though that's Lord of the Rings in general. There we go. It's just the whole thing. Just
right.
Because then you get Sam when he saves Frodo from the spider. It's also a very good one. Like I said,
right. But is that one epic though? I don't know if that one's.
I think
great.
It's epic because like this tiny hobbit is fighting a spider demon. Like,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, it's not like the whole movie is epic. It's just one big epic moment, but there are so many epic moments.
Right.
If you haven't watched Lord of the Rings extended editions, do it.
What are you doing? Are you listening to us? Go and watch them.
Yeah. Don't even finish the pod. Just go watch them.
Pause the pod, go watch them, and then come back to the pod.
You don't even have to pause it. Just turn it off if you want. Like it. I'm very passionate about Lord of the Rings.
I do think there are some movies that have came out where it is nothing but just at least epic fight scenes, if not full of epic scenes too.
Okay.
Like, I'm having a hard time not getting amped up. Okay, I guess I wouldn't necessarily go ridiculous because we could go another step farther into ridiculous. But whatever we want to quantify the John Wick movies as.
Yeah.
Because the choreography and the fight scenes from all of them, and that's probably where it's really epic, is it with the sequels that are out there. Now, I haven't seen the Ballerina because it's not John Wick, even though it takes place in the John Wick universe. choreography is consistent from 1 to 4 of John Wick.
Yeah, it's gung fu.
Yeah, and it's good the whole time. And they even have a sword fight with a horse and motorcycles, and I'm still here for it. It still doesn't feel ridiculous.
Right.
Like,
Dude,
but
this
they're epic. You're on the edge of your seat watching, like, what is happening? And it's not like it's an 80s movie where the hero's going to walk away unscathed.
and
He's
never
hurt.
reload and
And yeah,
Right.
um,
I think my favorite
Those are
scene
really
from the
good.
John Wick franchise, the favorite like fight, because it's hard to say scene because it's so extended. But when
right.
he goes to the club slash bathhouse,
Yeah.
that might be my favorite because
Yeah.
he's got to like
Even the
dodge.
first one.
You know, yeah, he's got to dodge innocent people. He's got to whatever. It just plus it was like the first scene that you saw essentially gun fu in that like and Keanu Reeves did such a good job. He did extensive training on how to look like he knows what he's doing. Like, yeah, it's good. That's a good epic franchise. Just because like all the fighting scenes are essentially that way. Like,
Right. I will say, again, it may be another homework assignment for me, but I haven't seen the third or fourth John Wick movie. So,
Yeah, you should. It's not. It's definitely not like a super
yeah.
uh
Like the first
assignment.
one,
It's
loved. Second one, I thought was good, but I just haven't ever gotten to third and fourth one.
the pro. If the John Wick movies have a flaw, as most movies do, it is that it will never relive the surprise that the first one was. It wasn't. It's not that they're not as good as the first one. None of the sequels are as good as the first one, as much as it's the 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 movie market was saturated with old action actors playing roles in a new action movie or rebooting or restarting up their old franchises. And so when John Wick came out, everybody thought it was one of those. And then people went and saw it. The small amount of people that went and saw it the first time around were like, this is actually really good. What happened? And then word got around, and people were like, yeah, it's about this guy who's super awesome. Just he's really mad because they killed his dog. What? Yeah, you need to go watch this movie.
And
That does
stole his
not
car.
sound good. And yeah, nobody cared about the car anymore. Like, what? No, wait, you just need to go and see it. And then you're like, even still, like that premise, if that doesn't convince you, you had to have that one friend that's like trustworthy, I suppose. The person who did go and see it and was like, this is really, really good. Oh, you need to watch it. And then you went and you watched it, and you were now the new person for somebody else to tell them to watch it.
Which I think for John Wick might have been Andy, because I think the first time I watched it, Andy brought it to my parents' house and was like, Dad, you got to watch this movie. And I think that's the first
yeah,
time.
because I watched it by myself when I was working third shift. I think I borrowed it from somewhere, and I was like, on the weekend when I was on third shift, I would just stick to my third shift schedule, so I would be up all night. Family would be asleep, so I just watched movies. I watched a ton of movies during that time, and that was one of them. And so I was like, you know what? More people need to watch this movie,
Mhm.
and so I took it like everywhere I went. Hey, you want to watch this awesome movie? Like,
right.
And so to go along with that, like the second movie came out, and we were all expecting it to be awesome. And it was. That was the problem. It didn't have the surprise going for it that the first John Wick did. It's
Right.
like, oh no, it's still more of the first one, which is good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Along the same,
another
I want to say maybe the same, but I was going to say, I don't know if there's even a scene that sticks out to me, but a movie that kind of sticks out at me just for like I guess the epic premise in my mind is Taken with Liam Neeson. And mainly I think of that because of the way it portrays like the epic lengths that a father will go to save their child. And also it makes me feel inadequate as a father because I don't think I would have been able to do the same thing. But like it just shows like
you don't have a certain set of skills.
Right. Or not the right set of certain skills. But like, you know, he literally crosses the globe. Granted, it helps he's like I don't know if he's ex-CIA, but whatever he is.
I think so. Like,
it's just, to me, I don't know. The premise is epic to me. And it's like, you know, I can't even watch that movie as a father now because it gives me anxiety. But when I
makes me not want to travel overseas or let my kids or my wife out of the house. Like
I think
exactly.
That movie was the single point in history where people stopped letting their kids play in neighborhoods. Even though it was adults, it just all happened. It all shut down. It's like, guys, if my kids get taken, there's nothing I can't do this, so I'm just going to make sure they never get taken.
Right.
Yep.
College attendance dropped that year.
This
You're
might
not going
be
to college because I'm not Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
I know, Andrew, I'm pretty sure you've watched all of this. Adam, I don't know if you've seen this scene, but in the anime Attack on Titan, there's a scene that, in my opinion, is one of the most epic, and it's when Levi Ackerman fights...
Captain, you put some respect on his name.
Captain Levi Ackerman takes on the Beast Titan.
Yeah.
That is...
himself.
Describe the Beast Titan, because I've probably seen this scene.
He's the one covered in fur, like the only one with that's not
rocks. Yep, yeah. I've seen that. I've seen this scene.
I guess
the thing also
if he throws rocks, that's significantly less impressive.
Yeah,
he throws rocks the size of houses.
Yeah, that's
what also helps that scene is before that scene is when the scout regiment is charging and the leader of the scouts gives that epic speech about how his soldiers rage, which is one of my all-time favorite speeches in media. But then Levi takes on the Beast Titan by himself and beats him, and it is like awesome because like you know Captain Levi is awesome, like because you know there's the rumors around the regiment about how awesome he is, and you get to see it a little bit, but then but he's always even keeled. But then when he faces the Beast Titan, like, talk about barbarian rage.
Oh yeah.
Captain Levi just essentially pulls a Grog from Critical Role and goes, "I would like to rage," and then just eviscerates this thing that nobody else can even get close to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very good.
That's just
scene.
Why he's awesome, though.
Yeah, Attack on Titan is one of those shows that I need to get back to, but watching the first season was a little traumatizing.
Dude, it's
I was not
watch.
I was knowing nothing about it, knew nothing.
You will only gradually get more traumatized.
I'm sure. I've heard.
It is a rough watch.
But like, I was not expecting.
Nobody who's fans of the show. Nobody out there is actually a fan of the show. We are all just now brethren because we have this weird trauma over a fantasy universe that doesn't exist, yet we can't explain that. So we go to meetings and we sit and talk about it. It's called
I don't even
AOTA,
know.
Attack on Titan Anonymous.
Right.
I don't even know how I got started to watch Attack on Titan because I wasn't a huge anime person, but somehow I just clicked on it and binged the first season. I think well, I think it was after my son was born, and we were doing late night feedings, and so I would
Yeah.
turn that
It-
on while I was doing the bottle feeding with my son, and next thing you know, I'm like, I don't even know if I like this, but I can't stop watching it. Like it's
I had heard about it, but it was my story is very similar to when I started watching Attack on Titan. It was something that I could watch without the audio because I had to read it, and my daughter would be asleep on my chest when she was an infant while I would watch it, or while like she was napping, and that's where she would nap. And I would turn it on and I would sit there and I would just read, which I later found out was kind of sad because it also apparently has some of the most epic soundtrack
soundtrack's good. The
that
voice
I
acting,
missed out on. Oh, and I mean I was reading it, so I was watching, listening, reading the Japanese version. Um,
because Matthew Mercer is the
well,
voice of Captain Levi,
yeah, and I want to go
and
back
it's
and
fantastic.
listen to the English version
Wait,
as well, just because I heard a lot of good voice acting with
yeah.
that.
Yeah. While we're here, should we just do? Not that none of us are huge anime experts, but I feel like there's some pretty epic moments in at least a few anime that I've seen. One of them comes to mind is when All Might goes plus ultra on One for All when he's using the last little bit of his power.
Oh.
Like I
that's
literally like probably almost I probably had tears in my eyes and like had goosebumps. Like it so epic.
Dude, My Hero Academia has a lot of epic moments.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
because
There's
if
very
you think about it,
dramatic, epic moments. Yeah.
if you think about Deku, almost all of his early stuff, I mean, all of his, are epic because, like, he's literally sacrificing his body
Right.
to save somebody
When he's not
because
crying,
he can't
because the
control
first
it.
season he cries way
When he's
too
not
much.
crying. Yeah.
I have a buddy. Funny story. I have a buddy at work who tried to watch it but couldn't get past the first couple episodes because Deku cries too much.
Yeah. Somebody
Both.
warned me. It might have been you, Adam. It was like, dude, you just got to power through all the crying. But a scene that comes to mind for epic for me is there's a scene in Sword Art Online. I don't remember exactly what episode it is. Well, there's a lot from Sword Art Online. I'm gonna mention two, but the first one, it's not big on the story, but it is big on like Kirito, the main character.
Mhm.
He helps this girl do this mission so she can revive her familiar.
Hmm.
But he's essentially using her as bait to catch these players who are, I think they called them red players, who would kill other players. Because if you don't know, in Sword Art Online, if you died in the game, you died in real life. So there's people who are killing other players because they didn't believe it or they didn't care. And he uses this girl's bait, and this group of like 20 players attack him, and he doesn't even move.
Hmm.
They hit him and hit him, but he is so much more powerful than them that he regenerates health faster than they can hurt him. And it's a really cool scene.
Yeah.
The
Kirito's
second
just
one,
a bad A because like he literally goes to the front lines and the whole time they're like, "Oh, that's the guy who goes to the front lines solo." Like
by
he's not
himself,
yeah, he's not part of a party. And it's like
Yep.
and he lives.
The second scene is in, I don't know, it's in the Alicization. It's like the last arc that they've made. Unless they've made more since, and I just
It's the
don't
last
know about
one
it.
that
But there's a scene.
dubbed, I think.
Huh?
I think it's the last one that's gotten dubbed.
Yeah. Kirito is comatose. Like he is like brain dead essentially. But
And missing a hand.
Asuna and missing a hand, Asuna the love of his life was in danger of dying, and then all of a sudden whatever that was like triggered where his brain, the synapses just like reconnected or something, and he just comes out of nowhere to save, Asuna. And the music, again, music makes a scene, and there's a music that plays in Sword Art Online that every time that music comes on, that Kirito is going to do something awesome. And yeah, that's just that scene, like he somehow like grows a new hand and blocks a sword with his hand, like just it's if you haven't watched Sword Art Online, you need to. There's a couple of arcs in it that are a little not great, but in general, the story is really good.
And if you like a protagonist that is just purely good, he's a good protagonist.
Yeah, he does the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And he doesn't do a bad thing to accomplish a good thing. This is the good thing. I'm going to do the good thing, even if it's not the easiest way to get it done. He's just going to do it that way. But
yeah.
I think if we're still talking about anime, one of the most epic scenes has to do when Goku goes Super Saiyan for the first time. That was a little kid epic because a lot of people didn't know it was going to happen. What's it going to look like? And they were really leading up to that moment. I think they really paid off with that. And another series that I felt like I haven't watched it in so long, but had a bunch of different moments. It was trying to confuse you, was Death Note. From figuring out what the Death Note does to all of the intensive study of the mind games that they were playing back and forth with each other between L and Light. And then just how it ends. I don't know if you guys have seen that either.
Nope, can't. Nope.
But how he essentially goes crazy near the end. You should watch that. You guys should put that one on your homework. I'll put Sword Art Online a little bit more.
I feel like it's going to take you a lot longer to get through Sword Art Online than it would take us to get through Death Note.
That's very true.
I don't know. I feel like Sword Art.
You do it, and I won't.
No, you need to do Sword Art Online. At least the first season, or the first arc of the first season is
okay.
I know.
Great.
I kind of wish they would have spent more time in the game in the first, in Sword Art Online. Like, the first arc is like the first half of the first season, and I kind of wish that first arc was the entire first season. But
yeah. Now I can't talk about anime and epic moments without bringing up a friend of ours, Zach. Is one of his favorite characters in all of anime is Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins. And there's a scene in, I don't know which season because I haven't watched all of it, but Zach has sent me it multiple times through TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And it's a scene where there's I don't know what he is, some demon or whatever that they're fighting, where you can't attack him if you have like, I don't know exactly how it works, but you can't attack him if you have like essentially like hatred towards him. But then Escanor takes him on because
I think the guy's technically,
if you don't know, Escanor is a lion's sin of pride. And so he's like, why would I hate somebody who's so much weaker than myself? And that he has this epic fight with this guy who, nobody else can touch. But Escanor's like, yeah, I'll take him on. No biggie. Like, it's very good. But I had to shout him out because I'm sure Zach, if he's listening to this, when he listens to this, would be pounding the table like, dude, Why you forgetting about my boy Escanor?
I'm
Right.
gonna be like that.
I mean, we need to do an anime episode at some point and invite Raymond and Zach on because they
Yeah,
both know
they
way
would
more
really
than
be
us.
much better.
But,
Yeah, because I have a very select anime that I will watch. Usually it involves swords or
Art and
superhero.
online.
Like,
yeah,
because Rising of the Shield Hero I also like, but again, it's medieval fantasy type of stuff.
right.
Like I don't get into the other stuff.
I do.
Plus, it can't be too weird. If the anime gets too weird, I'm out. Like I just
I do have a video game,
I said anime is a good transition to video games.
right?
I think there's a lot.
Yeah. So the first one that comes to my mind is I don't know if it's necessarily a scene, but I guess with video games it'd be like a level. In Black Ops 1, the first I think it's like the first mission where you break out of the Russian prison.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Is absolutely
that's
like
so good.
one of the
Where
best.
that giant Russian is holding up the
Good old
door
Sergey.
or whatever.
Poor Sergey.
Good old Sergey.
Rest R.I.P. Sergey. Couldn't have escaped without you. So, yeah, it's just the whole thing is epic. Like Reznov's epic speech, the pushing the coal cart while being, while machine guns are blasting at you and you got to defend from the
Oh,
sides with
gosh.
the pistol. Like, it's just so good. Like, heck, Black Ops 1 in general is just might be the magnum opus of Call of Duty campaigns. It's just so good. But that first level in particular, like, it's what a start to a game. It might be the best start to a video game in my mind ever.
I don't know, because for me,
So,
when we talk about best starts and epic starts, for me, the start to Skyrim, when the dragon shows up, I don't know. For me, that was like, oh, this is that kind of game. Like,
Yeah.
I consider that one epic mostly because I had never played an Elder Scrolls game until Skyrim, and I didn't know what it was.
Hey,
Everybody
but
was
you have
talking
the
about
whole
it.
boring cart scene beforehand that
The
you
boring
can't
cart scene's
skip.
pretty rough. The cart scene at the beginning is pretty rough, but just the fact that like to learn how to play the game, you're running from a dragon is pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
see, I see both of your choices, and I'm gonna raise you a God of War 3 epic fight scene against Poseidon, a literal god, at the one of the top 3 at the beginning of the game. Because I remember playing the multi scene of that where you're fighting the water horse and going up and down a literal Titan's back while fighting this thing. And it's
Because
just
aren't you
really-
on Gaia?
Yeah, you're on
Aren't you
Gaia.
running around on Gaia?
As
I
she's
started that
cli- as
game, but I
she's
never
climbing,
finished it.
as she's climbing Mount Olympus, and it ends with you. Spoiler alert for a game that's well over 15 years old, and
Don't worry, I'm putting in a giant spoiler warning at the beginning. So
okay, good. Anyway, you kill Poseidon at the beginning of the game. At the end of this fight, it's not like he gets away. Nope, he's the first one to go, and it sets the whole tone for the rest.
Don't you
of
rip
the
his head
game.
off?
No,
Or is that a
that's
no,
a
that's
different guy.
is that Hermes?
You. That's Hermes
Something.
because then you keep his head.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Uh,
I'll be honest, never played a God of War game. In my defense, was a Xbox guy
So-
for a long time, so wasn't
Yeah.
available.
well, and they were when the first one came out. You might have been a little young.
Yeah.
You might have been just a baby.
Right.
We were a lot of young when that first one came out.
I will say though, the new direction of God of War is they are a better set of games. They're deeper, they're more cut into lore, I suppose, because the original God of War games were just hack and slash beat 'em ups,
Right.
which was good if you could handle that and be into it. But the new sets are superior games, and
Right.
I'm excited for the direction they're going with those. And there's a lot of epic scenes in those as well.
I just thought of one. It's in a book / video game franchise. It is either in the book Romance of the Three Kingdoms or it is in the video game Dynasty Warriors. A lot of them. So it is when the leader of the Shu Kingdom, Liu Bei's son, is lost behind enemy lines when they're running from Zhao Zhao, and Zhao Yun, who, in my opinion, the best character in the game, my favorite character to use, awesome general. He literally fights. Again, this is like a romanticized version of historical events, but he literally fights for like several days protecting Liu Bei's son, who's an infant, and he's strapped to his chest while he beats generals and countless warriors, protects them a lot. And in the games, I forget which one, but in one of the games, you actually pretty much play that scene, and it's you against the entire army, and you're trying to get to the exit point. Granted, it is a hack and slash game, and it's, unless you play on very hard, it's not a hard game, but it's still epic. And when you read the books, it's also very epic. Granted, the Dynasty Warriors games are great at making you feel epic because it's 1 versus 1,000. Like, it's very easy to rack up 1,000 KOs in a single battle. So, but that story from that game and that book is pretty awesome. So,
I just thought, we talked about it earlier, so we should probably mention it. When Master Chief asks if he can return the Covenant their bomb, and then essentially rides the bomb.
Yep.
Pretty epic. Speaking of Master Chief, going back to TV, the Halo series, the show, I have my own opinions about the show in general, but when you first see the Spartans arrive to fight the Covenant on that desert planet or whatever, that was pretty awesome.
The first episode of that show is great until the last 5 minutes, and then the rest of it, the series never really recovers.
Yeah, exactly. But that scene, like when they drop down and just start fighting the Covenant, and you have the tension of, the rebels are like, are they going to fight us? And it's like, no, we're going to go fight these Covenant guys. You guys just kind of stay over there, like type of thing. Like the tension of it, like where the rebels are scared that the, Spartans are going to fight them, but then, just the Spartans essentially beating the crap out of these Covenant. It's a good scene. Mix that with the riding the Covenant bomb. Also good.
Yeah. So, I'll bring it up because I'm surprised we haven't talked at all about Star Wars, but I want to bring up video games specific. And The Force Awakens, I think it's the first one. You literally pull a Star Destroyer from orbit using the Force. That's an awesome display of power, and like I love there's like memes where it's like, why isn't Star-Lord canon? And it shows Star-Lord literally killing everyone and overpowering everyone. It's like he's just too overpowered. But the scene where he pulls down a Star Destroyer, I think it's even on the cover. It might be on the cover. Like, it's awesome. It's epic.
It was a huge selling point because I think it was one of the first times they had shown anybody doing that.
Right. Like, I read a lot of Star Wars books, so there's tons of epic Star Wars moments in the books. But yeah, that the like involving force powers, like literally Darth Bane uses the force to travel from a moon to the planet using the force.
Right.
You got stuff like that. It's pretty awesome, but that's the first time we saw something that on that scale on like a video game movie TV screen. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
pretty big. But you bring up Star Wars. I'm gonna bring up. It's in a book, a Star Wars book that is no longer canon, which is dumb. But in my opinion, it's one of the most epic things I've ever read. It's in. I think it's Adam. You may have to correct me because you know more about Star Wars. Star Wars books. It's called The Fate of the Jedi series. Let me look.
which is the
book
last
is
series
it?
they wrote before Disney got rid of them.
Yeah, I
Got
can't
rid of
remember
canon.
which book it is, but there's a book where Luke, who we all know Luke is awesome. He's the chosen one,
Yeah.
never loses.
Screw Rian Johnson for
But one of
butchering
them-
his character.
But one of the most epic things
Not
I've
my
ever
Luke
read
Skywalker.
is when Luke loses, and he loses to Abeloth, and he runs because he's scared.
Mm.
I know that sounds like slander for Luke Skywalker, but he legit runs from Abeloth.
Abeloth
When I read
is
that,
literally
when I
the
read
most
that, though-
terrifying villain in Star Wars, for sure.
when I read about Luke running, I was like, "Holy crap!
Right.
Who the heck is this lady?"
Yeah, if you
the-
haven't read them or don't know about Abeloth, I know a YouTube channel, Stupendous Wave, and then also Geetsly, I think that's how you say it. They have great videos on Abeloth. Literally the most terrifying villain in Star Wars. Literally like a horror
Very
villain.
terrifying.
Oh yeah.
She's
Honestly, with the Ahsoka show, I'm wondering if that might not be the villain
I mean
that the
she definitely
Baylan
could
Skull
be.
is like being called to.
Yeah.
I'm curious if that's.
I would not be
who-
surprised if they introduced her in that show. In fact, it would probably make the show epic. But
Definitely, because like I said, you never hear about Luke losing,
yeah. So
Yep.
and he lost.
right.
And then I think they Then they never finished the book series because I don't. Think
Well,
he
they
ever-
finished.
Did they?
They
I don't
finished.
know.
The last book ended, and then they left you on a huge cliffhanger for the Star Wars universe in general. And then, like a year later, Disney's like, "Hey, none of this is canon anymore." So
Right.
But never
They
mind.
kinda
Don't worry
stopped.
about
'Cause I
it.
couldn't remember how it resolves with Abeloth, but
I mean, light spoiler, it does resolve and doesn't. It's a little confusing.
because I think you can't kill Abeloth, but you can like banish her somewhere. or whatever.
Essentially.
But anyway, like I said, terrifying. If you want to know how terrifying? Just Google what Abeloth looks like
right.
and Google images, and you'll have nightmares for a week.
She's also a shapeshifter as well. So, but in regards to Luke Skywalker, the movies, the sequel trilogy, like I said, I don't like Rian Johnson for ruining Luke Skywalker's character. In the books, Luke Skywalker is so overpowered that obviously they would have to nerf him for like a movie, or else it just wouldn't make sense. Like I forget what book it is, but he literally uses a force push to pretty much knock over an entire Imperial army. Like
No.
in all. Like he can literally pass through places without being seen because he can use the force to manipulate cameras and people's mind so that they don't know he's there. So,
Which is why it was so epic when he showed up in The Mandalorian.
yeah.
I nerded out so hard when they're like, "Oh, it's a single X-wing showed up." I was like, "Are you
Right.
kidding me?" I think I was watching it with my wife. She's like, "What?" I was like,
That
"Dude,
is
you wait.
that is an
You
epic
just
scene.
wait." I was like, "You just wait
There's only
until
one person who shows up in a single X-wing
Right.
at this point in
exactly."
time.
Right.
And I seriously, I was watching it with my wife. She's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "You just wait." Like I knew what was going on.
oh yeah.
She had no clue. I was like, "You just wait."
I was
She's
giddy.
like, "Who's
I was watching-
showing up?" And I was sitting there like, I was like hopping up and down. I was like, "Oh yeah, like this is awesome."
My wife guessed that it was Luke Skywalker, but she was like, "Why are you so giddy?" It's like because
Because
this-
freaking Luke Skywalker.
this is him.
Like-
Like, so
I think I don't think I remember hearing the X-Wing part right away or something. Or maybe I was living in a world where I'm like, I don't think it's going to be Luke Skywalker because I was hoping
there
it
was so
gonna
many
be-
rumors on who it would be.
Yeah, I think I was kind of hoping it was going to be Ezra. But was pleasantly surprised that it was Luke Skywalker.
Right.
As soon as I saw the green lightsaber, I was like, "Oh, that's Luke Skywalker."
Well, Ezra had a green lightsaber too, so
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but
more-
also-
it was
Knew.
more the hilt. It was the hilt.
Right.
There's a,
right.
The thing that gets me about that scene, what makes that scene, is the look on Moff Gideon's face when they're like a single X-wing shows up and he's scared, like he is, like he pooped himself. He's like, "Oh crap," because I saw a video guy because somebody's like, if you don't know why he's scared, is Luke Skywalker went into a room with Darth Vader and the Emperor,
And he was,
and he was the only one who
it's
walked
going
out.
on,
alive.
Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, technically, Darth Vader left the throne room alive, but he wasn't walking.
Right.
Like he was
No.
pretty much being, but like it's just like,
Yeah.
and so
And Luke
the
Skywalker
rumors around
was
the Empire would have been like, dude, this guy went into the room with the Emperor and Darth Vader, and he's the only one who's alive now.
right.
This is crazy.
He was
Like,
essentially the Empire's boogeyman.
yeah,
And at
he's
this
the
point
Baba
in
Yaga.
time, it was all legend. At this point in time, it was all rumors and legend
Right.
of
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. It wasn't like just came out of the woodwork all the time in the giant galaxy. He was this mythological thing that just, like you said, was in a room with what was considered the two most powerful beings in all of the universe at
Right.
the time, and he's the only one that lived. What happened?
Luke Skywalker should have been the John Wick of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Like, that's what he should have been. Should have been like, you know, instead of killing 3 men with a pencil, it's like it's some other rumor about something he could do. Like,
He walked in the room with the Emperor and Darth Vader, and I don't know. He killed him with a pencil. I don't know.
something
Yeah.
where it's like some kind that sounds ridiculous.
A
But you
lightsaber
also
pencil,
believe it at the
most
same time.
useless tool
right.
of all time. What's it good for? Burning your fingertips. And that's about it.
It's like,
I would like to shift back over to video games if we can do that real quick.
Yeah.
sure.
Because I want to just kind of give a big old head nod to just about anything that Hideo Kojima has made, because that man is a lover of movies, but became a video game developer instead, and has thrown in so many epic points in any of the games he's made, because that is just who he is. I would love to just point out one specific anything from any of the Metal Gear Solid games, but it's so hard for me just to find just one. All of the speeches there's so many different speeches in there. There's so many different reveals. Almost every single one of the boss fights has some type of level of epicness brought to it. I will call out the big boss scene in Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. I guess we can get a shout out for that because that one recently was, I think, got remastered and put out there. But the amount of scenery during a boss fight that is included, as well as just visuals that he uses that were unique at the time of release for that video game. There's just too many to name. So I'm just going to kind of just count or just blanket statement Hideo Kojima games that he makes out there. I don't know. Did you guys ever get to play Metal Gear Solid? Any of those games?
I never
Did you
did.
miss those?
Yeah.
Go back and watch them. Go back and watch them or play them. I don't care. You could do either, and the experience would be just as satisfying.
Right. I will say, I think I think I tried to play Snake Eater at one point. But it was like way after, and I was trying to figure out the controls, and it was very difficult. And I was probably like 11 or 12.
No, you should go back and do it now. It's not that difficult anymore. You can do it.
So
I believe in you.
I do want to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a second. There are some pretty epic moments in that. Specifically, that comes to my mind is in the end game when Cap gets to wield Thor's hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody was hoping and waiting for it to happen, and when it finally did, and then the on your left scene with everybody shows up again, like Andy talked about, the music makes a scene, and it was epic. The crescendo of the OG Avengers music from the first movie, everybody showing up, the chants from the Wakandan people, like epic. His fight
Endgame is the ultimate,
right?
Plus, it's like the culmination of everything they built up to.
Right. It was like a culmination of the whole 15 plus years of movies.
The only other movie I think that comes in a deep second, but it's a deep second, is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
When Tobey Maguire shows up, that was pretty epic.
Man.
So, Andrew Garfield shows up, Tobey Maguire shows up.
See, the movie theater that I saw it at, like Andrew Garfield got like, yeah, but when Tobey Maguire showed up, people were
more of
out of their seats. They were, yeah.
That's the crazy thing, because it is still a deep second to Endgame. It's second. It's a solid second, but it's still a deep second in epic moments.
Yeah. I think that's solid.
Just thinking of those moments make me happy, though.
Right. Thinking how you felt when you first watched them. It's like, yeah, those were nice. Those were awesome.
So I do have one epic moment that I think is in its own category, and this is YouTube video epic.
Okay.
And it comes in the form of one name. And this name puts out greatness in everything that he does, whether it's soccer or volleyball, and that's name is Scott Sterling.
Scott Sterling! Raise him up like an angel! If you've never seen these videos, just YouTube Scott Sterling. I'm sure they're easy to find. They're some of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life.
And if they were real, they would be incredibly epic. And there's no way he would live.
He's probably brain dead.
He's had too many frontal lobe problems.
Yep. That was a good one. Does anybody have anything else they want to mention?
I think we
Yeah.
could mention more, but
That's the problem
we'd
with
be
this,
here for a while.
Right.
this video, this pod. How do we stop?
Right. Well, I mean, I can do an outro. So I do want to let you guys know, those who are watching, we are going to return to doing a one shot, whether or not it's actually one part, but we are going to be doing a one shot next week, next episode.
Bring it back, Raymond.
Yep, we're bringing back Raymond to be our voice of the DM. So look forward for that. We're real excited. It will be a return of Teddy, Leo Barros, and Krakus. So you'll have more hijinks. And, of course, Lil Texas. Don't forget about Lil Texas.
We don't know that.
That's true.
We don't know that yet.
Hopefully, we'll find out, I guess. But
maybe it's all about the search for
Krakus might kill Little Texas.
Why? He's got nothing out for the horse. If anything, Leo Barros might try to eat him.
It's true.
Nah, horse is too gamey.
But so stay
So
tuned
that's
for
you.
that. That'll be exciting. We'll be glad to have Raymond back to join
I think
us.
Lou Barros is still chewing on the hardtack.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably.
No, he spit it out for the pizza.
No, he put it in his pocket.
Oh, that's right.
Gross.
But then he turned into a bear. Yeah. So be prepared. You should go back and listen to that if you haven't.
Right. If you haven't listened to it, please do. It's actually our most popular episodes, which I would assume it means that they are funny and people enjoy them. So follow us on X for all updates for the pod. We are also on YouTube and Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Facebook group. Come follow us and interact with us. Andrew and I run that. So, yeah. If
Andy doesn't.
Well, Andy doesn't have Facebook, so.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm a lot happier for it.
So you can go and say anything you want about Andy on Facebook and he will never know.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Tell him how wrong he was about Wicked last week. So,
Oh, please. We can have that conversation. Wicked had some epic moments too.
It really
Andy
did.
Won't appreciate.
Yeah, Andy's like, they weren't that good.
Like I said, I can appreciate Wicked, and I can appreciate that people like Wicked.
Anyway, we're not going to
have to like it.
We're not going to spend another 15, 20 minutes talking about Wicked. But, so give us a like, follow, comment. We'd love to hear from you. We did have a poll out on the last episode, so check out the polls. Just get in touch with us, like, follow, comment. We'd love to hear from you. And with that, we're out.
Bye.
See ya.